I'm Lex Levy, and this is Ancient Odysseys. In today's expedition, we descend nearly 100 meters below the Giza Plateau to investigate the mysterious Osiris Shaft. With special permission access granted by the Ministry of Antiquities. This rare and exclusive footage is from the Landachem 2nd Ancient Alchemy and Ascension Tour. Let's go. If you want to help support our expeditions and research, pick up some Ancient Odysseys merch. I have a new collection that features my photography from our adventures. Also, Explorer packs are now available. Thank you all very much. The entrance to the Osiris Shaft lies in the floor of a shallow tunnel that runs from the north to the south underneath the causeway of the central pyramid, and approximately halfway in between the Great Sphinx and the central pyramid's eastern temple. This is a photo of Jeffrey standing next to the northern tunnel access that leads to the entrance to the Osiris Shaft underneath the causeway to the central pyramid. The first mention of this structure, described as an underground tomb surrounded by water brought by a canal, was mentioned by the Greek historian Herodotus, who visited Egypt in the 5th century BCE. Herodotus believed that this was the tomb of Khufu. His description of the structure is not very clear, and it's probable that he did not enter the shaft himself, but instead depended on the information given to him by a local guide. Herodotus recorded, "The river comes in through a built passage and encircles an island, in which, they say, Cheops himself lies." The Osiris Shaft complex consists of 3 vertical shafts, leading to 3 levels reaching nearly 100 meters underneath the Giza Plateau. There are 6 chambers on level 2, with 2 containers, one of basalt and one made of dacite, an exotic geology to Giza, with the nearest quarry coming from the southern end of the Sinai Peninsula. On level 3, there is a squarish chamber extending to the west of the floor of Shaft C. A narrow ledge runs partially around the interior of the walls of the chamber, and in the center of the chamber is a rectangular emplacement, carved from the limestone bedrock, with the remains of square pillars at each of its 4 corners. The emplacement or island is at a distance of approximately 1.5 meters from the walls of the chamber. The island creates a trench running between it and the chamber's walls. The walls of the island are approximately 2 meters thick, and the remnants of the pillars or pillar bases, also carved into bedrock, are approximately 1.5 meters square. At the center of the island is a basalt container. Its lid was found here in Shaft C. It is surrounded by water, in the shape of the hieroglyph for house, the per sign, which depicts a floor plan of a walled building with an open doorway. This configuration is similar to the layout of the Osireion at Abydos, also referred to as the Tomb of Osiris. Watch my episode 42 for new Osireion research and full footage of our expedition in 4K. As you will see shortly, the water that fills the 3rd level of the Osiris Shaft is crystal clear. A sample was obtained and laboratory tested, and these are the results. The salinity and the TDS, or total dissolved solids, are elevated, making this water qualify as brackish. Brackish water has a salinity in between fresh and seawater. It is found in fossil aquifers. Fossil water is an ancient body of water that has been contained in some undisturbed space, typically groundwater in an aquifer, for millennia. UNESCO defines fossil groundwater as water that has infiltrated usually a millennia ago, and often under climatic conditions different from the present, and that has been stored underground since that time. Determining the time since water infiltrated usually involves analyzing isotopic signatures. I would have liked to test it for uranium. The Giza Plateau was once under the ocean, and the limestone bedrock is full of aquatic fossils. The high salinity and TDS of the water in the Osiris Shaft indicates that it is a fossil aquifer, left from when the Giza Plateau was submerged under the sea in a distant past. This is a map of the pyramid complex attributed to Menkaure, the third pyramid on the Giza Plateau. A map done by Perrin in 1839. If we zoom in, we can see to the east of the Pyramid of Kenkawes and to the north of the Wall of the Crow and Gebel Gibli, he has noted between two sycamore trees there is a well of brackish water. Today, there is a modern Islamic and Coptic cemetery that is built around Perrin's brackish well. This cemetery is entirely enclosed and heavily guarded. It is well known that water sources are often associated with sacred traditions, and there are clues to suggest that this area was sacred since ancient times. I believe this modern cemetery was strategically placed around Perrin's brackish well. You can see footage of our expedition near Gebel Gibli in episode 45, The Wall of the Crow, and in episode 47, where we walk along the enclosure of the modern cemetery. I believe that it is likely that the Osiris Shaft and the wells that are now in the modern Islamic and Coptic cemetery share the same fossil aquifer, and that the properties of this water are something to be further investigated.
Okay, so now that we're all down here, several things to unpack about the construction itself. Okay, so again, we're in excavated bedrock below the Giza Plateau. We talked about the veins of iron oxide running from the core of the pyramid, distributed across the plateau. And if you look, do you have the flashlight? If you look into these housings, you'll notice that there are veins of iron oxide running through these housings. And look at this thing. I mean, it looks like it could have been a bar of iron.
It's in a bar.
So again, no mercury was ever found in any of these deposits, but there's all of the other metals that you could possibly imagine.
Right.
So remember from our previous discussions that when the dielectric capacity of a material is exceeded, it spontaneously becomes a conductor. So let's say that that was the function of these iron bars down here inside the Osiris Shaft, to distribute the electric field energy that was being received from these lightning strikes down into this chamber. And you'll notice that this bar of iron runs across the housing of each of these chambers. You can see it here. There's a huge, thick deposit here. Another one over here that led into this. This is all a huge deposit of iron that has been removed out of here. So either the electric field via dielectric distribution of electric fields, or if it was spontaneously turning into a conductor because its dielectric capacity had been exceeded. Either way, you're getting electric fields or electric current energy being distributed into this subterranean chamber. You'll see here that there's still some deposits at the top of each one of these. They may look small, but the iron oxide is still inside all of these chambers. Okay? Now you'll notice in this one, this is obviously modern equipment here. Not ancient, but modern. So the black grease that you can see all over this piece is the black grease that you can see here.
Yeah.
There's been some misrepresentation of what this black grease is. This is modern from the archaeological excavations that were down here. Modern axle grease. And there's some very special things about these two containers. So let's take a look over here at this one. This is a material that we have not seen before during our entire expedition. This is a material known as dacite. The closest dacite quarry is at the southern tip of the Sinai Peninsula, which is an extremely far distance to get it all the way here into the subterranean chamber of the Osiris Shaft. And I'll turn this off so you can all see that when we look inside of this container, each one of you guys can come over here and take a look at the green glow of the material that's down in there. And let's kind of rotate out so everyone can get a chance to look in here real quick. Steve, come take a look. Can you see that? It's perfect. Well, that's the glow of the UV light. Look at the green on the left. Flecks of green. That's been found in any of the other constructions in Egypt. And dacite has an extremely high content of microcrystalline quartz. So we've already been talking about the function of quartz for ultrasound. Again, the finer the particles, the higher concentration of quartz you can get in the material, the more effective it is for producing ultrasonic vibrations. This container is black basalt, and we'll see that same green material inside of here. If you guys look in here, you can see some green ooze down in there.
I see it.
Okay.
What do you call that?
Dacite.
Yes.
Correct.
Every time I write something, my autocorrect immediately changes.
Yeah. Analysis was taken of the surface layer of this container, and they found the external layer of tar, bitumen, or pitch, a petroleum-based compound. Again, modern axle grease coming from this wheel over here, or some of the modern equipment that was used in the archaeological excavations. But they also found a layer of 5 different metals: iron, arsenic, lead, titanium, and zinc. So today, we have an exceptional material known as PZT. What is PZT made out of? Lead, zirconium, and titanium. So they found a very similar metallic chemical composition to PZT coating this container.
What's PCT?
Get to that in just a second. So PZT is a material that we use in modern ultrasonic transducers for the production of ultrasound. Okay? So this material back here, the dacite container, has tons of crystalline quartz. Black basalt does not have crystalline quartz. However, if you coat it with a material that can substitute the quartz content, it can function the same way.
Oh, wow.
So instead of using quartz ultrasonic transducers, you now have a coating material that can also create these ultrasound vibrations.
So you're saying like they coated this because they didn't have any more
Didn't have the same material, correct? The same chemical and mineral composition of the stone itself. So dacite, again, microcrystalline quartz. So it has an extremely high quartz content.
Okay.
Black basalt does not. But again, if you coat it with PZT, the entire thing becomes an ultrasonic transducer. And we were talking about yesterday, during our private special permission into the Great Pyramid, how that container
In a king chamber.
Correct. It's like an amplifier for the production of ultrasound vibrations in the chamber. Same thing is true of these chambers down here. And there was most likely one of these containers originally in each one of these housings. They don't know what happened to them. These are the only two that are left. But it's believed that all of these housings held a similar container.
Would you say 6 of them or 7?
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the 7th one is actually the shaft leading to the 7th container. So a total of 7 containers within the system.
Okay.
6 on this level, 1
down
on the subterranean level.
How does the dataset compare to bluestone?
Similar. And it's of these structures. They built the entire Giza Plateau here for a very specific reason, because it had all of the materials that would be required for what they were accomplishing.
Right. And let's say if the lightning hits and these things absorb the energy,
Okay?
like how long this energy lasts?
That's a subject to be determined,
Mm.
right? Because we haven't been able to do experiments that test this.
But you might
It's
imagine
only
like it's gonna
a
go into a
hypothesis.
revelation.
So they're going to store it for a time
Yeah.
until the field has completely dissipated
Right.
in its transformation into mechanical energy, right? So we're taking electric field energy, introducing it into the quartz crystal, which produces mechanical vibrations of the quartz itself to produce these ultrasound waves. So there has to be a period of time when they're still running and correct.
So there are different applications of than being done here, other than.
So what's that green thing that we saw in the UV light?
Here,
Yeah.
to be by quartz dating. It's a new dating technique where they can analyze some of the compounds left in the quartz crystal in the dacite container, which gives a relative age for the piece of stone by the amount of dissipation of radiation from inside of these crystals. And it gave a date of approximately 800 to 900 years before the construction of the pyramids on the Giza Plateau. Now, an interesting thing about this dating technique is that it can either represent the last time that that quartz material was exposed to sunlight, or the last time the material was heated to a high temperature, which is very applicable to the function of this chamber. So perhaps that 800 to 900 years, so let's say this is 2800 BC. Now we're pushing it back to 3800 BC when this chamber was constructed. That could be that the last time that this chamber was operational was 1,000 years before the pyramids on the Giza Plateau.
Oh, so this
The conventional dating.
could predate the pyramid.
So technically speaking, in terms of the order of events, the Osiris Shaft is older than the pyramids on the Giza Plateau. And I'm just using the conventional 5th dynasty as a reference period, because that's the conventional date assigned to the construction of the pyramids. Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaura.
So that means this itself is an ultrasound.
So those burials on the plateau, they're ancient burials or are they more recent? Look at those guys now, okay? I mean, Pharaonic period? They are, they're from that period?
The Ptolemaic is even post.
Yeah.
Notice the patterns and how they carved it. They carved it like a herringbone pattern.
Yeah. That must be the,
Look how they carved. No, that's gotta be original, because it's on this wall over here too and over here. They carved it in a herringbone pattern.
By the way, I found cutting patterns all over Lebanon. You know the stone of the Carnatulum, the biggest stone.
So, and really, there's nowhere for two people to stand?
You know, we have the biggest, 1,800 tons.
No, that's the next one, my notes too.
This one. See, have you ever seen this?
Come down a little bit further.
The biggest
Step
stone.
forward.
This is 1,200 tons, this is 1,600 or 800. Oh my God, I'll show you some photos tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, I show you Jacob, I'm going crazy.
Is Petra in Lebanon?
No, Petra is important. And you have to go there too.
There's so many places to
I
go.
just got a location. Everything goes to about these places.
So many artifacts.
And they sent a kid down into that shaft, and the Japanese robot, and it still goes further and further and further. They didn't do the full exploration because it's still mud, they have to remove all the mud and come back with a new piece of equipment. You can see how crystal clear the water.
These are so much you guys are telling me. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's actually the best one because nobody in Lebanon is interested in this and I'm like hunting megalithic sites, so I have like 16 or 18 sites that I know of where there are huge different anomalies and huge rocks.
He's been to a lot of places.
That's what I went
The whole thing is. Well, I believe it's probably a very spectacular looking artifact.
And it looks like the top left side is, kind of like. I wish we could go swimming in there.
How about ancient bacteria?
Yeah. Oh, and I see the spider.
Oh, yeah.
It's like coming out.
So that one does look like a shell.
Yeah, it's still, I mean,
Huh? Next?
well, hold on.
Are you coming back up?
Yeah, you're gonna have to stand on the ladder and flood it.
Oh, so you can't go all the way down.
Well, you
Oh,
can,
you can.
if you want to get your shoes wet.
I would recommend not doing that.
If you want to keep this up.
Yeah. You can
I think it might be a piece
get
of
like
like
lost
myself.
underwater.
Yeah, I don't wanna get my shoes in.
It's fine if you
I think
set
it's
your back
basically
against the
like
wall
myself.
when you get all the way down.
Okay.
All right, next one.
Shit. That is
Oh, there's
crazy.
lots of water down there.
Just wait till you guys see how big that box is.
Which one?
It's way bigger than this. It's like the size of one of the cut outs. Like the whole entire thing. In manufacturing, when we, at my company, we actually ultrasonically weld things. Yeah, plastics to plastics, and you use ultrasonic beam, and it makes beads like this. It makes beading, kind of like welding knives. Like you have a bead line. Bead? Yeah, bead. Okay. Basically, an ultrasonic laser. And just moving it through.
So, guys, I don't know what it's more like. But I get the impression that it was, that's why they were doing such high tolerance.
Oh, yeah, right? So when you hit the bottom rung, you can step down one more and just kind of hang out on that rung.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So you don't have to sit your feet in the water. All right, so this is the underwater container here. Yeah, shine yours too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it hasn't picked up.
Yeah, the lid has been opened, but they found nothing inside of this depression.
Yeah.
And there used to be 4 pillars. There was a pillar here, here, on each end of the container.
Yeah.
There was a pillar.
Is that like these ones, the old one? That one?
Yeah, that's the tunnel.
That's the tunnel.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It goes even further up
Yep.
toward the pyramids.
Yep. So it doesn't go down, like it goes up.
Goes back up to the surface,
Wow.
toward the surface.
I see. So this is.
It's still underground, but it moves back up through the bedrock, not further down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you think this is pretty much the most bottom?
Correct.
Any idea what that stone? Do we know what that stone is made of?
Black granite.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's different from the basalt or
Correct.
that side.
Correct. Yeah.
So do you think they probably have a different function?
Same function.
Same function.
Well, I'll talk about the whole thing when we get back.
Okay.
And you can see how clear the water is.
Yeah.
Look at, see that area where there's no debris?
Yep.
Seeing just crystal clear water. All right, so now you're in the subterranean 3rd and lowest chamber of the Osiris Shaft. And here in the center is the black granite container. And there's a rectangular housing that goes around the container in the center. You can see the lid here has been lifted up and just moved over to the side. So that's why it's off at a diagonal here. In the corner, you can see the remains of the 4 pillars that once surrounded the central container. And if you crouch down and look back here into the northwestern corner, you can see the tunnel that I was discussing in the previous episode regarding the Osiris Shaft tunnel system. And you can look and see how crystal clear all this water is. If there wasn't this debris on the surface, I mean, it would just be immaculately clear. So this is an indication of a subterranean water source, an independent aquifer directly below the structure that is not tapped into the Nile, because the water in here does not fluctuate. We know the Nile River isn't anywhere close to this structure now. So the water source underneath this structure is completely independent and enclosed aquifer.
I don't know if I can reach the tunnel.
We'll go through how it worked from the top.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Of course.
Can go up.
Down here by myself in the dark.
Can I tell you? And what did you say? Something to look for around here?
So on the left side, on the way up, you'll see a couple other shell fossils in the bedrock.
Okay. Oh, that higher up one.
Yes.
This looks really like the fluid thing.
Yes.
But you think this is a fossil, rather?
Yes, these ones. So I think the other one that I put in my video is also a fossil. So that I'm certain that they knew the level of the water. And the construction of this thing was planned intentionally so that they would tap into this subterranean chamber. Now they also have to be able to pump it out, get this thing down in here, and do all this other work. So that's another entire aspect of the construction process of this chamber, which we had to use modern pumps to pump all this water.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't necessarily, I mean, if there were a natural cavern, say this was small, whatever water level was in there, you wouldn't have anything to fill the cavern.
Okay, all right, be safe.
So back in that corner is the tunnel system that I showed in the previous episode that was excavated by the joint team between the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities and the Japanese team that sent the robot up there. There's a good shot of the container.
This concludes today's expedition into the Osiris Shaft. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more epic adventures from Ancient Odysseys. Never stop exploring. If you want to help support our expeditions and research, pick up some Ancient Odysseys merch. I have a new collection that features my photography from our adventures. Also, Explorer packs are now available. Thank you all very much.
Footsteps in the desert lie, rolling sun, our only guide. Whiskers of a world unseen, mysteries of ancient dreams. Pyramids, shadow sharp and long, humming history like a song. Ancient stones, the secrets hold, stories from the days of old. In the sands of time we walk, from the crypts of pharaohs talk, digging deep beneath the dust. In these words we place our trust. Hieroglyphs and serpent beams tell us of the pharaoh schemes, curses, treasure, legends grand, buried in this timeless land. Buried shadows sharp and long, humming history like a song. Buried shadows sharp and long, burning in the secrets of the sand. Shadows sharp and long, humming history like a song. Ancient stones, the secrets hold, stories from the days of old. Ancient stones, the secrets hold, stories from the days of old. In the sands of time we walk, through the crypts the pharaohs talk, digging deep beneath the dust. legends grab